All right, so as usual, welcome once again to the weekly market review. And if this is the first time you're attending our weekly market review, my name is Adetile Freeman, and I am the lead instructor and CEO at EasyFX Academy. Tonight, we're going to be taking some time to, go over what to expect from the markets in the coming days and weeks. Just to have a bias for what our actions would most likely be. All right, just to have a bias for what direction the market would be heading into. So for tonight, first of all, as usual, we'll take a look at the indices. All right, the Australian index, the dollar index, CAD index, the euro index, the pound index, the JPY basket. We'll take a look at all of these things. So without further ado, let us start with the Australian index. All right, so the Australian index currently seems to be on a bullish run. However, I think that run could be short-lived as soon as the market steps into this region. All right, as soon as the market steps into that region, and what that means is that as far as this is concerned, all right, the Australian index could just maybe step a little bit closer into this area, all right, before it begins to drop. Okay, so we're expecting AXY. Let me start with that. So we're expecting a short buy, all right, followed by a big sell. And that means we should be expecting that in maybe 2 to 3 days, all right, latest by Tuesday, Wednesday, all right. We should be expecting that to play out. The next one we'll take a look at is CXY, which is the Canadian index. So last week we saw the Canadian dollar index play out according to our bias perfectly well. All right, and it came into this other block zone. Okay, like I said, we're going to see that push and then maybe followed by a drop. Okay, so currently on the Canadian dollar index, I think we can start to expect or anticipate some bearish movements. All right, let's see on the weekly time frame if that's correct. Absolutely right. All right, worst case scenario, if it doesn't react from the zone it is at the moment, then something around here would be the sweet spot. Okay. However, remember CXY is the Canadian dollar index. All right. So we're still going to correlate what we're seeing here. We're still going to have to correlate it with what is visible. All right, on the charts. All right, on the actual commodity charts. Okay. For CXY, I think it's also a bit of a buy, all right, to sell. All right, and that should be, maybe it might not be starting right away. Let's see on the 4 hours time frame. It might not be starting right away. Yeah, it might not start right away. So we might see something along this line. All right, something along that line will make some sense. So for Canadian dollar, we can also expect something maybe from Tuesday, Wednesday, thereabouts. All right, so BXY, which is the pound index. I remember last week we talked about the pound index dipping this way, all right, and then bouncing higher. All right, it has completed the dip. It's bouncing. It bounced already. All right, and right about now it's retesting. It has retested this other block. To break structure around here. All right, and currently we're having something that looks like a convergence or divergence rather. All right, so that tells us that for the pound the pound index, the Great British Pound Index, we can expect prices to maybe still come up a bit higher. All right, me see that again. Yeah. So pound index, maybe go up a bit higher before selling. All right. But for the pound index, I think I'm just going to fold my hands and see how this plays out. All right. I don't want to be in a hurry. Okay. I don't want to be in a hurry. So let's look at DXY. DXY, the dollar index, we talked about the dollar coming into this zone and then dropping. Initially, we talked about the bounce higher and then the drop. And as you can see, the bounce happened, all right? The initial drop happened, the bounce happened. We've seen the drop back here. However, right about now, I am having some second thoughts because we've seen liquidity taken out here, all right? And price seems to be reacting from this other block, all right? Price seems to be reacting from that other block. So that means that we could be seeing some confirmed bullishness on the dollar, maybe from this zone, okay, as opposed to the initial bias, all right? So we could see price, do that in order to take out the liquidity from the equal highs right here, all right, before we see a continuation in the drop, all right? So for the DXY, it's going to be a short sell, and then a buy, and then maybe a sell, okay? So for now, okay, the fingers crossed, but I think that, the dollar should still come this way, all right? So from maybe tomorrow, all right, from maybe tomorrow or tonight, we might start to see some, I think it started since Friday, actually. It started since Friday. We saw GBPUSD. We saw GBPUSD sell a little bit. We saw EURUSD sell a little bit, all right? So could see a bit more of this as, as the week progresses, all right? So let's keep our fingers crossed, okay? Let's keep our fingers crossed. Sorry, my throat is a bit dry. Let's see what we have on. This is DXY. Let's see what we. All right, JPY basket is quite interesting at the moment. I think we've seen a reaction from this other block area. Price is coming down, which means that this our POI is still quite valid. All right, so we might see price still come into that POI before going. We might see price still get into that area before going high. And as you can see, the stochastic is also heading towards the oversold zone. All right, so let's just see how this plays out in the coming days. But let me quickly check on the daily. All right, sorry about that. I think my internet misbehaved for a few minutes. It's been raining heavily around here, so apologies about that. So let's just see how this goes on. So JPY basket, we've seen prices react from that other block on the 4 hours time frame. All right, the bias is still quite bullish, all right, but we've seen price react from this other block to come this way, all right, which means that we might end up getting a reaction from somewhere around here, which would complete this QML formation, all right, which would complete that QML formation. So as well on JPY, I think it's fingers crossed, but I am more positive about a bullish reaction on JPY for this week. All right, JPY basket should be bullish. All right, so All right, so which means that for JPY, we should expect something bullish. All right. So having said that, if you have any commodity you'd like us to take a look at for the week, all right, please kindly drop that in the chat box right about now. Okay. If there's any commodity you really love us to review and talk about, all right. So please drop it in the comment section as usual, and we will get into it right away. All right, keep it coming, keep it coming, keep it coming, guys. Keep it coming, guys. I'm seeing all of your comments. Beautiful. Don't worry, tonight I think I'm feeling a bit better, so we would address all of these commodities you guys are dropping. All right, beautiful. I think that should be all, because it doesn't seem like any other person wants to drop a commodity. All right, beautiful. So let's see who's number one. First commodity we'll be looking at is EURUSD. All right, so EURUSD, let's quickly take a look at that. I think last week we talked about, I think I gave this setup last week for a sell on EURUSD. It's playing out right about now, and I think the reason is because of what we have here on the daily time frame. All right, because of what we have here on the daily time frame. However, the reason why my TP is here is because of this other block right around here. Let me show you that other block on the 4 hours time frame so that you see that. All right, there's one right here. There's another one right around here. All right, so I used this last one as my possible take profit. However, I think we might expect a reaction from this zone or a reversal from this zone, since we've already seen the possibilities of equal lows liquidity being taken around here, coupled with possible trendline liquidity. All right, and I think if I corroborate that with the trend line, with the stochastics, I think we might end up having something along this line. All right, maybe something along that line, which would give us a likely, all right, a likely convergence or something, all right, possibly, all right. Or in fact, we could see the reversal happen from maybe here, all right, which means it could be closer than we expect. Okay, I just realized we didn't take a look at EXY as a commodity. So quickly, let's take a look at EXY. So we have a bias for the euro. All right, this was our bias from last week. It played out quite nicely. It played out quite nicely, but let me see. Do we want to stay there? Maybe no. Let me see. All right, in the light of what I'm seeing on EURUSD, on EXY now, I think EURUSD may do something different, but nonetheless, it should still bounce a bit higher. All right, so let's go back to EURUSD. All right, EURUSD 1 hour time frame. Let me delete this quickly. All right, so this is already looking like a QML of some sorts. All right, this is already looking like a QML of some sorts, which means that this begins to make a lot more sense. All right, this makes a lot more sense. And as you can see, the stochastics is already oversold. All right, so that makes it a much more superior possibility to having an overall bullish Euro JPY index. Remember, as far as the JPY basket index was concerned, all right, we talked about the JPY being bullish. All right, so Euro JPY, I think we might want to peg our possible entry somewhere around. All right, 137. 137.980, 137.980. All right, maybe your stop loss should be somewhere around 138.553. All right, and possibly your take profit if you're not being too ambitious, all right, because using this, let me see now. Using this, let's see, 1:3. 1:3 should be somewhere around 136.14. 136.14. All right. 136.14 should be somewhere within the range of our take profits. Okay, so let's see how that plays out. However, for somebody like me, you know that my risk management is a bit more intense. So from this kind of a trade, I might end up securing maybe something close to 1:10 or more. Well, maybe something close to 1:10 or more. Yeah, as expected, 1:10. All right, but let's see how this plays out. Okay, so that's first one. The next commodity is US30. US30. All right, but before I go on, if you feel like from the analysis I just did on Euro JPY, if you are impressed or you feel like, oh, that makes a lot of sense, or you agree with it, kindly drop a positive emoji in the group. Let me know that you feel me. All right, let me just get some vibe from you. Okay. All right, beautiful. Thanks for the love, guys. Last week's analysis, for those who followed every bit of the analysis, we raked in over 800 pips, all right, totally throughout last week, and a cumulative of about 1:13 risk to reward, all right, on some of our most conservative trades, all right. So US30, this was one of the setups we took since last month. I think I dropped this setup last month. I still remember this setup. The first one was about 1:23. This is the second one right here. It's still playing out. Okay, it's still playing out quite nicely, but I think it's getting close to its expiration. Remember, if the dollar starts buying, it means that all of these guys would be bearish. All right, so let's see what this is looking like. I'm seeing a few probable zones, okay, but I think this will be the first among them. All right, we can see price, dink into that zone, all right, and then drop. Or maybe do something like this. All right, so that's my bias on US30. Remember, for indices, I usually do not give an entry, all right, and that's because indices can be crazy. All right, indices can be crazy. Mr. Yobami, if you have something to say, please kindly type it in the group. All right, just type it as a comment in the group. So for indices, I usually do not give an entry or stop loss because indices are crazy. All right, and the volatility at times can be discouraging. Okay, so that's why let's just keep it safe. All right, this is my overall bias, but let's see how this plays out during the course of the week. All right, let's go on to the next commodity, US oil. US oil. I think I have a lot of indices traders in the house right now. Oh, Mr. Tim, beautiful, fantastic. I think we have a lot of catching up to do, Mr. Tim. Don't you think? All right, let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. I think we've seen this. So US oil, I think we might be going bullish on US oil. I think so. And I think the statistics agree with me. I think the data agrees with me. So let's see. This is on the 4 hours time frame. So somewhere around here. All right, that's an FOB zone. All right, that's a Fibonacci order block zone. So we can see price dink into this area and then bounce. Remember, these are TP3. All right, so definitely, we should see that reaction there. All right, which would complete. Which should be the completion of this. All right, so that's basically it. So let's see how that plays out. All right, the next commodity we want to take a look at, as requested, is AUDUSD. Yes, it's been recorded. Thank you, Mr. Tim, for the response. AUDUSD, let's go to that quickly. Yeah, that reminds me, we had a sweet setup on AUDUSD last week. How many of you caught this? This was about 1:11. 1:11. Liquidity grab, price stepped into the other block. All right. Sorry, I had to switch over my network to another one. So yeah, let's see. Okay, what's going on? Okay. Don't know why this is not loading up at the moment, but let's see if another chart will load. Okay, so AUD USD, let's look at that quickly. So as I was saying, AUD USD gave us a sweet 1:11 trade last week. Yes, based off of, we saw this convergence. It was a very clean opportunity. Trend was still bullish, still LD, and then we were able to get in right into that. So having said that, let's quickly take a look at what the week holds in store for AUD USD. All right, as you can see, AUD USD is currently at this resistance zone. All right, it could possibly break that zone, maybe to just come into this area. All right, possibly. But we can see that currently it's within a Fibonacci order block area. All right, and that makes it something interesting to understand. All right, or to study. Okay, so let me see. Yeah. So, and at the same time, I think we're already overbought on the stochastics with some bit of discrepancy as to the direction. Okay, so I think it only makes sense to expect AUD USD to sell from that zone. Remember, we talked about strength on the DXY, which is the dollar index. All right. So how exactly would I be getting into this trade? All right, seeing that this is a bit of a tricky one. 1 hour time frame, we've seen this possible break of structure. Seeing this reaction from the other block here. All right, we've seen this reaction from here. So what do I think can happen? Probably something along this line. Probably something along that line. Or maybe to make it even more interesting, we could all right, just to make things a little bit more interesting. All right, so for AUD USD, remember we're still talking about strength for the dollar. All right, so let's see how this plays out. I think we should expect some bearishness on the AUD USD. So during the course of the week, once this setup is right, I think currently I am working towards a system where I can have, I can give out notifications to let people know when it's time to take a trade, or at least give entries and exits and things like that that can help people, just fit into what the week is looking like. Because I observed over the past couple of weeks, that a lot of us miss out on these setups. All right, so I have had to recruit someone who will be notifying us whenever the setups play out. All right, so rest assured, hopefully during the week, once this setup is right, you will be notified in the group as to what is going on at the moment. So right now on AUD USD, I wouldn't be giving an entry point yet, because there's still a lot of possibilities. All right, so to be on the safe side, let us see how the market plays out. All right, at least maybe till towards evening. All right, Monday evening, and then we can know what to expect. All right, but AUD USD, we are looking at selling. All right. So the next one is GBPUSD. Yeah, that reminds me. This was a sale on GBPUSD last week. It was a very clean one. Liquidity grab, liquidity grab from this POI as well. Trendline liquidity taken. Let me show that a bit clearly. All right, so that was why my take profit was around here, since I already knew that there was another order block around here. So I was expecting a bullish reaction from here. So for me, I think on the dollar, I think there are a lot of interesting possibilities that could be taking place this week. All right, we can see a very LD break of structure from that area. All right, we could take this as an equalized liquidity, so that price comes into this zone and then we come maybe back all the way here. All right, or maybe even lower. But I think that would be a wise point to start considering exiting your trade, since this is another area here. All right, this is another zone here. But nonetheless, I think this would still be the best area for a take profit. Okay. So regarding GBPUSD entry, exit, whatever criteria it is you're looking for. All right. So GBPUSD, I think for us entry. All right. For our entry, I think we can work with 1.21866. All right, 1.21866. Stop loss would be somewhere around 1.22197. For the stop loss, the take profit would be somewhere around 1.20905. All right, 1.20905. And that would be a 1:3 risk to reward. However, during the week, if there's need to modify this this bias or this setup, all right, we would be notified, as the case may be. All right. So at least for some of my students, all right, you would know that this may not be my compulsory entry point. All right. If I want to get smaller, risk, or better risk to reward, all right, I'm going to have to refine this a lot more. Okay. But because this is a public space, all right, and I wouldn't want to mislead anybody into believing that, oh, they have the chance of getting a 1:6, maybe 1:6, or maybe 1:8, or 1:7 trade. All right. So not to be too optimistic and allow greed. So let's just stick with 1:3 risk to reward. All right. So that's GBPUSD. That's GBPUSD. Someone also requested EURUSD. So let's look at it. EURUSD is almost virtually the same thing. I think this is my EURUSD trade. What killed it was I didn't exit on time enough. All right. However, for Euro, I think we talked about Euro getting weaker possibly. All right. Nonetheless, I think we've had quite an LD break of structure here. All right, and this is a solid imbalance candle. Yeah, so maybe perhaps first of all we might want to get we might be getting this. As a divergence such that okay, let me mark this out. maybe something along this line. All right. Possibly something along this line. All right, possibly something along this line, such that at least would have equal lows taken out. All right, would have possibly have this as a trend line liquidity, and then price steps into this, and then we bounce back up, because this other block right here is a very optimistic other block. It's a very strong one, right? Based on what I have seen happen around that zone. So, but let's see how this all plays out. Okay. Remember, nothing is set in stone. All right. These are just possibilities that I'm showing us tonight. All right. So I think for Euro USD, there's a lot of possibilities, not possibilities per se, but there's a lot of movement that we can expect this week. And I think one of the major ones I would prefer us to prepare for would be this buy. All right, just in case it plays out like this. I think this buy would be a much better alternative. You know, tentatively, all right, this would be a 1:3, somewhere around here. Yes, 1:3. All right, so let's see how this plays out. Okay, price coming into this zone and then bouncing to the top here. Okay, but nonetheless, I think this sell should still play out quite nicely as well. All right, that sell should play out quite nicely as well. So I would not necessarily be giving an entry on this, because it's not, it doesn't look so juicy to me, like I like my trades to be. All right, so let me just see how this works out during the week. All right, and then we can update you on the group how this goes. All right. If you have a pair that you would like to look at, Sophie, you can send that. Maybe that will be the last one I will look at for today. All right, so we've addressed Euro USD. Let's go on to the next one. Gold, XAU USD, one of my favorites. Gold did me dirty on, that must have been Tuesday. Gold did me dirty big time. All right, I was already in profit about 1:3. I set my break even. Somewhere around here, and then this spike closed me out at a loss. All right, because it was a spike. All right, not because of any other thing, but just because it was a spike. Those that trade crash and boom will understand what spikes do to stop losses. All right, but nonetheless, since we're talking about gold gaining strength, I think this is my bias on gold at the moment. All right, I'm saying that as a very sweet spot that price has not yet touched. All right, price has not yet touched into that zone. So let's just see how that zone plays out. Okay, let's see how that zone plays out. Coupled with the fact that we have a possibility of this playing out, something along that line. Okay, so let's see how this works. So gold, I think for gold, I want us to be a bit cautious. All right, if you're going to be selling gold, let's see, 1:3, perfect. All right, for gold, please let's stop sending in commodities for review, all right, so that we wouldn't stay too long on this session. I still have some announcements to make at the end of this session, all right, so that we don't get to take too much time. So I think for gold, I think we can look towards 1807.370 for entry. Stop loss should be somewhere around 1815.209. All right, and then I think profit can be 1783.528. All right, so let's see how that plays out.
Say the entry again, please.
All right, so 1807.370, 1815.209 for the stop loss, 1783.528 for the take profit. All right, if you want to recap on all of this, you can always just visit the YouTube channel and catch up on whatever analysis we take a look at during the week. So let's go on. Euro USD taken care of, gold taken care of, GBP USD taken care of, USDJPY. USDJPY. Let's look at that quickly. All right, USDJPY might end up being a funny one. All right, because okay, this was last week. We had this 1:8 risk to reward risk to reward play out quite nicely. It was an amazing one. However, I think we're expecting strength on the dollar. We're expecting strength on the Japanese yen. And that could mean that we see some bit of a tricky movement on USDJPY, all right? We see some bit of a tricky movement on USDJPY. However, I think this zone that I marked up here has not been tested yet, and I think I really want to see it get tested. I really, really want to see price, get into that zone, and then maybe this zone drop all the way down here, or possibly come this way. Yes. So this is what I think I want to see. All right, on gold, USDJPY. Which means our first option is a reaction from this zone. All right, since it's quite an interesting zone. All right, I believe that makes it a bit clearer for those who are just saying the analysis. All right, that makes it a bit clearer, so you understand why that is my bias. All right, so let's see how this plays out during the week. I think my idea is solidly that USDJPY should experience some weakness, maybe after that initial strength. Right after that initial strength. So let's see what happens when price gets into that zone. All right, because there are a lot of movements, all right, that we are expecting from USDJPY, and the fact that both indices are telling us to expect some strength. So I would not be given a clear entry right now. All right, during the week when an entry forms, I would do my best to notify us. All right, I'll do my best to notify us on that as the entry forms. But for now, just have this at the back of your mind as the overall direction that that the market might be considering. All right, so USDJPY, we're looking at a buy to sell. We're looking at a buy to sell. Let's just see how that plays out by maybe Tuesday. All right. The next one, USD CAD. All right, USD CAD. This was also one of the setups I gave last week during our market review. I think it was about 70 something pips thereabout. Okay, it was a little more than that, about 209 pips. Yeah, 209, 210 pips. All right, and that was a 1:10 risk to reward. A lot of you missed out on this trade. I'm sorry about that. But nonetheless, I think the essence of these sessions is that you're able to see where you missed out last week, all right, and then position yourself better for the new week. Remember, we're talking about strength on the dollar for the week, right? So I think at the moment there could be a bit of a problem here. Right, let's see how this plays out. Yeah, so I think what that means for me is that I might want to see something along this line. Maybe even higher. Something along this line, so that we can complete this. All right, so that we can complete this. Something along that line, okay? Let me show you on the daily time frame so that it makes a bit more sense. Can we all see that on the daily time frame? Daily time frame, this is already a situation on the daily time frame. So that means that our bullish bias should be confirmed. All right, should be confirmed. Let me take off this so that we take a look at all right, so that means so let's see what happens. Our buy should play out from somewhere around here, all right, and carry us maybe that high. To be on the safe side, however, I think we still want to remain within 1:3:1. All right, so entry would be this is USD CAD. Entry would be 1.27065. Stop loss somewhere around 1.26647. All right. TP would be somewhere around 1.28308. All right, 1.28308 for our take profits. Okay, so let's see how this plays out. But I think that this is one of the trades that I'm quite positive about. All right, so let's see how this works out. That's USD CAD. The next one, GBP CAD. GB CAD is an interesting one at the moment. I think I can see this. I can see this. I can see these equal lows already taken out. I think I can also see trend line liquidity also taken out. Yeah, this happens to be a Fibonacci order block zone. All right, so GBP CAD. Pound may not retain its strength for long, all right, but nonetheless, I think it might be a little bit stronger during the week. So we see probably something along this line, all right, possibly, all right, possibly. But let me just show that in clearer terms. I'm sure that those of you that are my students already understand what it is that I'm looking at right now. All right, so that's GBPCAD. Let me see this on the daily just to be sure. All right, beautiful. All right, so GBPCAD, let's see. All right, GBPCAD. Entry point would be, preferred entry would be somewhere around 1.54159. Stop loss 1.53511. Take profit somewhere around 1.56155 or 1.56172. Either of the two. All right. So that would give us a clear 1:3 risk to reward. All right. In the meantime, so that we can figure that out. The next one after GBPCAD. All right. Okweniko Amuson, you're welcome. But I think we already talked about US30. Synthetics. I'm sorry, we don't do synthetics here. The department or the branch that handles synthetic is the PIPS Templar. All right, there's a group of my students that are, that do market reviews. I think twice or three times every week. All right, so you can ask for the link to join that after we're done here. AUDCHF. I think we already looked at GBPJPY, didn't we? I think we did already. All right, this is AUDCHF. I think Australian dollar currently is weak. All right, it's quite weak. Let me see. Give me a minute, please. Let me quickly stop this. All right, so let's go to the 4 hours time frame and see how that plays out. We're seeing a lot of shabby market movements around here. All right, but I think there could possibly be a liquidity grab from this eye. All right, this eye here, such that price does maybe something like this. All right, steps into that pivot zone and then drops lower. Okay, I think that's just what I think I'm seeing at the moment. All right, so that Okay, in which case we would have all right, and then we can see. So AUDCHF, I don't think I want to give an entry yet. When the entry shows itself, I think we would we'll drop a notification in the group, all right, once the entry is right. Okay, so I don't want to shoot myself in the foot. All right, CAD JPY, GBPJPY. All right, this is CAD JPY. I don't know why I haven't closed this yet. But like we said, JPY is supposed to be strong, all right? It's supposed to have some strength over the week. So I think that's my bias. I want to see what price does here. All right, we've had so let's see. But I'm sincerely looking forward to a strong sell from that zone. All right, we're looking forward to a sell from that zone. So CAD JPY is bearish. All right, CAD JPY is bearish. You can find your entry. I don't think I want to give anybody an entry right now. Right, you can go refine entry for yourself on the lower time frame. And let's just see how that plays out. All right, let's just see how that plays out. But that's CAD JPY is bearish. All right, price has filled in this imbalance. All right, so we should be seeing a continuation of a bearish movement. GBPJPY gave me a scare last week, but I think we're fine now. This is supposed to be a 1:12 this to reward trade, and it's still moving. I think this is just about 1:3.7, right? Yeah, so it hasn't achieved up to half of my target yet. But nonetheless, I'm definitely trailing this. And one of the reasons why I didn't close this trade yet, let me show you on the 1 hour time frame. All right. So aside from the fact that the moving average trend was still bearish, I could see that stochastics were already overbought. So that didn't really scare me as much as it would have if I didn't have all of these other confirmations, all right, to just guide me through. So GBPJPY for me is still a sell. All right. As regards entry, I think the only advice I can give you is watch for this. All right, watch for this. I think it still has a long way to go, so just watch for it, and then it will be easy for you to figure out an entry from that kind of an area. All right. So if you feel like you've gotten value tonight, can you just drop an emoji in the chat box? Let me know that this makes some sense to you. All right, beautiful. It's time to quickly do some announcements or to quickly make some announcements. Thank you so much, guys, for the love. Thank you so much. Some of these announcements might not. Let me stop the recording.